What it do? It's your boy Big Snoop D.O.G. And I want y'all to check me out on the 500th. You hear me? 500th episode of Bootleg Kev. Oh yeah, the interview was smoking.
Before we start the episode, man, I got to remind everybody that we are on the radio in 80 cities every single day across the country, man. Real 92.3 every day, Monday through Friday in Los Angeles. Wild 94.1 in Tampa. KKFR in Phoenix. We're all over the place. Miami, Vegas. We can go on and on. Want to give a shout out to our latest affiliate. Shout out to Knoxville, Tennessee, man. Hot 104.5. For being the latest city to join the Bootleg Kev Show network. All right, now, I don't ever really talk about the radio show on the podcast, keep them separate, but if you want to listen to the radio show, you can click the link in the bio for a list of all the cities you can listen to at. Yeah, does that make sense? Let's get to the interview. All right, man, look, Bootleg Kev Podcast. This is actually the 500th episode, and it's only right. We have quite possibly the greatest of all time. Snoop Dogg.
500?
500, man.
That's crazy. I like that number.
It's a great number.
Yeah, 100 times 5.
Yo, I got to tell you, I always tell this story about how your album, Doggystyle, like changed the trajectory of my life. Because when I was like 6 years old, my grandma, remember Columbia House used to send like 15 albums for like a penny?
Yes, sir.
So my grandma somehow got Doggystyle in the mail on tape.
Good shot. Shout out to grandma. Way to keep it gangster.
But she had no, I don't think she meant to get it.
I don't give a fuck. She did the right thing. Good shit, granny. See, I'm a grandfather, so sometimes grandparents do shit that y'all don't understand.
So it was like obviously a cartoon cover.
Mm-hmm. So that's what she went for.
So she gave it to me. And I fucking, like, within, I don't know, 3 weeks, knew the whole album, like front to back, every skit by heart. I mean, literally, by the time my mom heard me listening to it and took it from me, it was too late. It was over with.
In your system.
It was over with,
in your
bro.
DNA.
Yes.
Where'd it go, grandma? I gotta give grandma a shout out, man. That's G shit right there when your grandparents have a forward way of thinking and knowing that my grandson is gonna be somebody. I gotta put this in his DNA to make sure when he gets to the point where he's at, that it's all the way in him and not on him.
Yeah, I always say that album changed my life, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm here a lot because of Doggystyle.
Thank you, bro. That album was a fun experience because being a young rapper and being so infatuated with Dr. Dre and NWA, being able to work with him on the Chronic and then to say, okay, it's my turn for my album. You mean already? Like right now? Like, yeah. Like, that was a amazing feeling because I had all my homies with me too. The people that I had started with, the people that, you know, watched me grow into the MC that I became. And then to have Dr. Dre perfect my craft with DOC and the whole team, it was a blessing.
Yo, I was curious, were you the brainchild behind the skits? Because when we're talking about like using skits within an album, just memorable skits. I think about the beginning of G's and Hustlers with like the school teacher, and even like the bathtub intro, the murder was the case intro. Like, I feel like skits are a lost art form, and I can't think of more iconic skits than on Doggystyle.
That's a fact. Well, you got to understand, Dr. Dre was learning me. We had just finished the Chronic album. We just forged a friendship. We had been together for about a year, and we started like hanging together like every day, like just me and him. Like, we pulled away from everybody else. So he was learning the things that I loved and liked while he was crafting my album. And when we would be together, we would always either listen to old school music, or I would pop in a VCR of an old black, exploitation movie, and he would get that and get my spirit and say, okay, when we make your record, not only do I have to capture your sound, but I got to capture the essence of who you are. And that sometimes isn't in the music, it's in an inner sketch or a skit before the song or after the song. So we creatively came up with things that made sense. Like the shit with, nigga, your bitch chose me.
Yep.
I always loved that scene in the Mac. And then the bathtub scene is from Superfly. When he trying to get out and Eddie telling him to stay in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you getting all of these movies, scenes instilled into my album because I'm such a fan of that. And Dre, as a producer, captured every element of Snoop Dogg, which was funny, gangster, real, and raw.
It's crazy too because I think back to like the way that the Chronic, you were the first voice on the Chronic, but you weren't the first voice on Doggystyle.
No, Rage.
Lady of Rage just blacked the fuck out to kick that album off.
Right. So it was Rage and George Clinton was the first voices on my album. And Dr. Dre, he has a different way of thinking. He always know what he doing, and we never know what the fuck he doing. But when he finishes, the shit sounds amazing. He knew that he wanted Rage on the intro because Rage was supposed to be next up with her album.
Yeah.
So that's what that setup was about, hearing her voice first.
Kind of like you were next up with the Chronic, yeah.
That was his train of thought, but it didn't come to life, but that was his train of thought process.
Yeah. For sure. It's crazy, man. I think I ran through the entire album last night for a couple of times. The new album, Missionary.
Right.
It's different, and I feel like it's like kind of like an evolved. I mean, because if you kind of go through the years of like, even like between Doggystyle to you guys getting back together for 2001, and obviously you guys have done music since then, you know. But there's some shit on this album, man. That's like the Tom Petty Jelly Roll record is crazy. Like talk about, because I saw you went out to Jelly Roll's Nashville show, which you know was super dope. Shout out to Jelly. But how did like the idea of bringing Jelly Roll onto the album come up?
Well, when we got the concept right, the beat, the hook, my verse, Dre didn't want me to come with a second verse, because I had a second verse on there. He was like, nah, we need to get somebody on it. So they start throwing names out, like all kind of names, big name artists, country artists, this style of artists. And the shit just didn't match. It didn't feel right. Then a motherfucker said Jelly Roll. And the whole room lit up and was like, that's the nigga, him. And so we reached out. And when we reached out, Dre was going to send him the track. Jelly Roll was like, no, I want to pull up.
Yeah, for sure. He told me,
He came through. So it was, I wasn't even there, though. So that's how gangster it was. It was like, I had to hear it after the fact, and I didn't even meet him until I went to Nashville.
Oh, you didn't meet him until you went to...
That was my first time meeting him.
So you got to meet Bunny, his wife, and the whole...
His wife, his whole team, his crew, his best friend, then his other best friend.
You met Scary Larry, the guy who loads the dabs?
This motherfucker had 5 best friends. Like, this how they came and introduced me. Hey, Snoop, I'm Jelly Roll's best friend. Look, shake my hand. Then as soon as he finished, hey, Snoop, I'm Jelly Roll's other best friend. Then the motherfucker, hey, Snoop Dogg, I'm Jelly Roll's real best friend. I'm the one that discovered all this shit. I said, I love Jelly Roll because he got the same kind of crew I got. My homies love me the same way.
Right.
If you ask 7 of my homies right now, they all gonna tell you, nigga, I'm his best friend.
Right.
Because I'm friends with everybody.
Yeah. Yo, I saw you talk about, like, I saw a quote, it was an article you did, but it essentially said that, you know, with this album, you kind of wanted to remind people that you're like one of the greatest of all time as an MC. Do you feel like, one, do you care about that conversation? And 2, do you feel like when that conversation happens, your name gets brought up enough?
I mean, I ain't got time to watch my highlights. I got a game to play tomorrow, Kev. So I can't worry about if I'm in the Sports Center top 10 or the hip hop top 10. I keep putting in work. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that's undeniable. You could check my resume. I came out in 92. And this is 2024, and I've been relevant ever since I came out the door.
Forever.
In music. Let's say that first. Music
Yes.
first, and then other things.
Culturally, musically.
Yes, but music first.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, every decade. And then the other things are my side quest. The things that I enjoy doing, that I love doing, that I want to inspire others to do by taking chances on myself. Like engaging and believing in me. Like I don't have to have nobody confirm that I can do this or try this. I just do it and get it done, and then it becomes, you know, spectacular and famous, and people love it, and hopefully it inspires the next generation to try and do it. Because I used to be a shy kid that was afraid to make moves and jump out there and do things, and now I'm a leader, and I want to inspire the next man that may be shy or embarrassed to step up and become who he's supposed to be.
I mean, you are the side quest, you know, master, I would say.
Well, me and Shaquille O'Neal. I'll put Shaq in there.
Look, Shaq is close, but I feel like you've ran away with it for a while.
That's what I do. I do usually run away with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been known to do.
Yeah.
I'm a closer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys are relief pitchers. I'm a closer. I close shit down. You know what I'm saying? When I get up there, expect a W because I play hard, I practice hard, I study, and I respect the game. And when you do all those things, it usually ends up in a successful way.
I was gonna say, man, like throughout like the last 30 years, we've seen you have so many business ventures. I think to like back in the day owning like Snoop Dogg clothing and like getting it from Burlington Coat Factory as a kid, you know what I'm saying? It was Outkast clothing and Snoop Dogg clothing around the same time.
Shout out to Kadada Jones, Quincy Jones' daughter. She the one who took me to a guy by the name of Michael. Well, she took me to Andy Hilfiger first and Tommy Hilfiger, and she got me a branding deal with them. And then she said, you need to create your own line, Snoop Dogg Clothing. She gave me the idea and introduced me to the people, and that's how Snoop Dogg Clothing got kicked off. And this before she even met Tupac.
Yeah, no, Snoop Dogg clothing was crazy. It literally was like if you it looked like shit. You would just Snoop Dogg like straight out the closet of Snoop. You know what I mean? But I just feel like even like going into the crypto space, like I feel like you are like a real pioneer when it comes to like showing artists like that there is this other world in which you can kind of monetize. I feel like maybe 3 years ago, there was people spending serious money to have digital real estate next to your house.
Yeah, Sandbox. Niggas was buying digital property for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the shit was like this big, and you couldn't touch it. But it was the fact that I had went over to that industry, and I had went on the ground. I had started from the ground up. I didn't come over there and try to grab money. I went over there and I built with the creators. I went over there and let them use my name, my likeness, did collaborations, changed the game, brought music over there, did things in an unorthodox way to where it was appealing to that world because that world is that same way. And I wasn't a superstar to them. I was on the ground level with them. So whenever I would put something out, they would respect it and buy it because I would usually do things with them or allow them to use my name or my likeness early. When I first got into that world, people was using my face and all kind of shit. My son was like, Pops, you gotta let them use it. They love you. That's why they doing it. It's not that they trying to make money off you, they love you. And once I understood that, then me and my relationship with the Metaverse took a whole new lift because it was like, wow, Snoop is allowing us to use his face and his likeness as a creator and musically use his voice and blah, blah, this and that. And it was a connection that can't nobody break because I built that.
No, that shit's crazy. Definitely the first to do that, I mean, for sure. But in terms of just like the new ventures, like obviously you and Dre have a new drink.
Gin and juice.
The gin and juice.
And still gin.
Like there's just so much. I feel like every other week we see something new. What is like your bandwidth like on a daily basis? Because I mean, I see Death Row on everything. I go to the store, there's Death Row t-shirts at Walmart. There's the Death Row Happy Dad. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have just... I mean, the work ethic's still so crazy at this point in time in your career. Like how do you kind of manage and deal with just all of the ventures?
What I did, Kev, I put a team around me. For many years, it would be me and a couple of people making things happen. So what I did was I got a bigger team. I got a smarter team. I got employees who are professionals at what they do. And then I'm back managed by William Morris and Ari Emanuel. So positioning myself to get the best out of me while I'm putting in the best of my work right now. And not having to focus on so many different things, but being the creator, the boss, and the connector.
I love it. I wanted to ask you about your second album, because it's an album I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. It was probably one of the highest anticipated albums of all time, because it's obviously the follow-up to Doggystyle, the Dogfather. What do you feel like, because I love that album, like that the You Thought record with Too Short and Superfly is my shit.
Thought you had my grip.
But what do you think kind of went wrong with it? Was it like kind of like the beginning the splintering of the relationship with Suge? Like what kind of went wrong you think with Dogfather and why it kind of doesn't get looked at in the same kind of...
You got to think about what the Dogfather was. What was the Dogfather? It was the follow-up album to Doggystyle, but what it was Snoop Dogg becoming a man. Snoop Dogg realizing that he wanted to live, that he wanted to separate from the madness. And at that time, it was looked at as, it was frowned upon because I was so gangster on my intro and so gangster with the way I was living. Like, why don't you want to be gangster anymore? Well, how about I'm fighting a murder case? And when I win this murder case, I want to do right by the system, by God, and by the way I was raised. And if the people around me don't get it, if the fans don't get it, if the label don't get it, fuck them. Because in 2024, I'll be talking about why I made that decision, why that record sounds like that, why I was hope on that record, why I wrote about life more than death, why I seen visions of me becoming a grandfather and living into my 60s and 70s by saying the right things in my music, because realizing that the Chronic and Doggystyle and the Dog Pound album and everything that I had worked on, I had wrote all of the things that happened to me that were negative. I manifested it. So I wanted to write some positive shit to
Manifest some positive shit.
and it happened.
Would you say that going through that trial, which is obviously one of the biggest trials in hip-hop history, I know I talked to Warren G about it. He was like, I got interrogated during that shit. You know what I mean? Like, would you say the uncertainty of like what your future looked like while you're going through that trial, like kind of like change, like, cause what if like Doggystyle, you had that success and you were on that meteoric rise and that trial didn't happen and there wasn't something to kind of like shake you up a little and be like, hey man, this shit, you know, could get taken away. Like, do you feel like that it kind of changed your trajectory as like a man and an artist?
Well, remember, my good friend Tupac had got murdered. Suge got separated from us. All this happening while the Dogfather is about to come out and then comes out. So it's like the label is in disarray. There's death. There's division. I'm a Crip. Bloods and Crips is at it now.
Right.
Suge ain't fucking with me no more, really. So it's like you don't really have the push and the support. And then the record that I made wasn't as violent or as gangster as the first one. So it's like if you go see Scarface, or you go see a better analogy, you go see a movie with Robert De Niro, where Casino.
Right.
And then you see him in Meet the Fockers.
Both great.
Right, but,
but yeah.
the gangsters don't want to go see him
Right.
in this family funny movie.
Right.
But the shit is amazing.
Right.
They only want to see him shooting, killing, mafia. That's all they want to see. So my audience was brainwashed at the time to think that that's all we did. And then you had Tupac smashing on niggas, doing the gangster shit. I'm with him on America's Most Wanted, but then I ain't like that on my album. So it's like, I'm two people.
Right.
Because when I'm with Tupac, I'm fighting the murder case. But when I do the Dogfather, I win the murder case.
Different.
So when I'm fighting him, I'm going to try to keep it gangster and stay down and all that shit. But damn, I got these jurors looking at me too. So when I finish, I got to get back in I got to beat this mode.
Right.
Because you're on probation right now. You're on bail. I'm fighting a murder case. Suge is in between.
Both.
So it's like Dre is on the way out and we don't know it.
Crazy.
So all this is going on.
Yeah.
And the murder case pre-existed. Because it was wild Doggystyle. It's just dragging on. It's just dragging out. So I got to be on my best behavior so I won't get violated and get took to jail. I had a niggas didn't know I had house arrest for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I damn near violated.
That shit's
So it was
crazy.
like walking that fine line, trying to keep it gangster. Then while I'm keeping it gangster with y'all, then 8 in the morning, guess where I got to be at? In court with a suit on.
Right.
My client is not gang affiliate. My client. But as soon as I leave, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a double life. Some got to give. And it's my life. So at the end of the day, God gives you the control to control your life, to make decisions. And I made a decision to do what I thought was the right thing, which is make a record that was aimed in that direction to deal with what I was dealing with in life, in real life.
I talked with Damian Young, shout to Demiza. He had said that you don't get enough credit for trying to be a peacemaker during the East Coast, West Coast drama that was happening. He mentioned a show at the Palace. It was like a Power 106 show. And I guess Biggie pulled up You guys met backstage. Biggie goes on stage, I think he did Crush on You or something like that, and he said that you walked out behind him like while he was on stage, like while he was performing, and did your Snoop dance and shit, and he was just like, that was never something that you would kind of like subscribe to, and I think that's obviously well regarded that we kind of know that, but like, was that like something that just the whole time that was happening? Obviously, there's the Source Awards thing, but was that something that never just sat right with you in terms of just that whole narrative?
No, it didn't, because the East Coast was always the pinnacle of rap. They was always the gods. They was the ones who did it before anybody.
I mean, you paid homage to Slick Rick on Doggystyle.
Come on, man. They was the ones who showed us how to do it.
Yeah.
So we would never want to get into it with the inventors or the creators, but certain situations made us feel a certain way because we would never get our songs played on radio with certain things that would be biased towards us, and it was built up frustration. And then you got, things that's happening in the industry with artists being shot at and being shot, and you know what I'm saying? So it was like it built up a hostility that was out of control, and I was a part of it. New York
video was fucking.
But that was after them niggas shot at us. We went out there to have them be in the video. They wouldn't let us to the radio station. Then they bust on us, and we didn't say nothing.
They wouldn't let you guys in Hot 97?
We came up to Hot 97 so we can say, "Hey, New York, we here to shoot a video." You know what I'm saying?
Pull
Dog
up.
Pound,
Yeah.
Pull up, come show us some love. We're gonna be at Times Square. They wouldn't let us on. Then the word gets out, Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac shooting a video in Red Hook, Brooklyn, and we had to exit. So, but we kept it low. We didn't say nothing. We left it alone. And that was sort of kind of like why Tupac had like animosity towards me, because he knew that happened to me, and he suspected that happened to him by the same circle, and I was still willing to forgive.
Right. You were still willing to be the bigger man.
When he was locked up, I was the gangster. So when he gets out, he expected me to stay the gangster. When you watch gangster movies, it's always two gangsters, right? And they riding it all the way out. Then one
of them,
like, man, I wanna.
It's like Nas in Belly. Nas is like, I want to go to Africa, and Tommy Buns is like, fuck that.
But that's life. That's just how it is. It's like all of my relationships have been like that. Even with me and Warren G. When we started off, we was tighter than the glove musically, and then it had to take a point to where he had to separate and do his own shit to create who the fuck Warren G is. Yeah. Because he would have just been up under us and being Dre's little brother and this. Now motherfuckers know that's Warren G, the creator of G-Funk, the regulator. He produced this, he did that. But
saved Def Jam as a West Coast artist.
Right, but you don't know the struggle of what it was before he got to that point.
Right.
It wasn't just, all right, Warren G, go do your own thing. It was maybe it's arguments. When you see my biopic, you'll see it. I ain't gonna give you too much.
Yeah.
But
Now he explained a little bit, like he was kind of explaining like things got a little weird because he was like kind of the only guy who wasn't with Death Row and like kind of went and did his own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the one that brought the main piece to Death Row.
Which is true. Facts.
You bring the engine and you don't
Facts.
get to get in the car?
That's craziness. That's interesting. Yo, talk to me about you obviously getting with Pharrell, kind of carved out another era of your career. Pay the Cost to Be the Boss, Rhythm and Gangsta. These were albums that I feel like are kind of like up there with any of your bodies of work. Also, shout out to the Blue Carbon Treatment. That's one of my favorites. And Last Meal, too.
That is my favorite.
The Blue Carbon Treatment's so good.
That shit's so hard.
Oh, my God.
That's my shit.
But you like being locked in with Dre in a way that you have, the level you have. You've also worked with guys like DJ Premier throughout your career. Like you've worked with the greatest of all time, Timbaland, et cetera. But like catching like that vibe with Pharrell, where you guys are able to like really kind of ride a wave and like have multiple. I mean, Drop It Like It's Hot is like, as big a record that you have. You know what I mean? Like, how cool was that to kind of like get in a group? Because a lot of people can get in with producers and like, yeah, Pharrell made the album, we got a single, but you guys got into like a real. I mean, the Bush album was dope, Slept On too.
You know what people don't know about Pharrell? This is what I really love about Cuz. When he worked with me, when we was doing the first couple of things that we did, all he wanted to do was be around my gangster homies. As R&B as he is and as melodic as he is, he was so infatuated with like, Snoop, bring your homies up here, cuz. Have your homies up here, cuz. He used to say it just
He
like
used to say
that.
cuz.
Yeah, he's like, that's how he talked to me. Bring your homies up here, cuz. And all my homies, he's like, I want the worst of your homies, the one that steals, the one that'll get in a fight, the one. I need
He's
them.
like, I want these studio sessions to be a real
Yes,
liability.
I want niggas up here in so many words. So I would bring all the niggas up there, and he would get all, like, to me, he did what Dre did with Doggystyle. He had to learn me, but he had to learn my elements. And you can't just do that sitting in the studio with me. You got to see me around my people. You got to see how I interact with my people. You got to get the vibe of us. And when we made those records, he even allowed people like L.T. Hutton to produce tracks. He allowed Jelly Roll and other people to present because he knew that they was a part of my team. So it wasn't like it was a produced by Pharrell top to bottom.
Right.
He had the majority of it, but he allowed, hey man, your homeboy over there, bring him in here. Don't he do beats? Let's see what he got. Like he was that type of, collaborator with me, to where it was like we had fun together, and he was interesting because he wanted to tap in to this gangster shit. Then when we was into it with Suge Knight, that's when he was trying to like pull up. He was like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all really into it with the nigga? I said, nigga, don't trip, nigga, stay down with this crib shit, nigga. We got this nigga. And then once we handled cuz, he was able to see all of that, to see how the situation resolved, not with violence, but with just standing up and being a man and putting your foot down.
And then like that Bush album y'all did, I don't know, that shit does not get talked about. That was
Overseas, they love that motherfucker.
That was a great fucking album.
Big hit overseas.
Yeah. And it was, I think what I liked
visuals?
about, I bought the CD, and I think the CD reminded me like the old No Limit cases, because it was like a solid colored case.
Did you see the videos to that album?
Yeah, for sure.
The Stevie Wonder one was amazing. The one with Charlie Wilson, like his thought process. To me, that when I'm not here on this earth anymore, is when that record is going to be thoroughly appreciated.
Yeah.
Because it's so dynamic and it's so futuristic that it was so ahead of its time. People were so used to hearing me and him do slappers and bangers, but we went to a whole nother region with that.
I want to talk about, like, I just watched your Cam interview, and I know you touched a lot on your No Limit era. I remember the anticipation, because I was a big Master P fan. Like, Ghetto Dope's my shit.
That was my shit too.
Oh
My homeboy Badass, rest in peace, pulled up on me in a Cadillac, and he was like, Doggy Dog, you gotta hear this shit. And he put the cassette in and Ghetto Dope, and I fell in love with them No Limit niggas.
So fire. But when you first dropped The Game Is to Be Sold, Not to Be Told, and you had like the No Limit style cover, and it was like your first, I remember like running to the where, I think I saved my money. I might have sold some older CDs to get that motherfucker. But that album felt to me like it was like you going to No Limits world, as to where Top Dog felt to me like you brought, now y'all gotta come over here.
Last Meal.
Last Meal was straight.
See, what you don't know
Out
about
of those three, Last Meal was my favorite.
Last Meal, Dr. Dre mixed it from top to bottom, every song on there.
So when you were working on Last Meal, were you also simultaneously working on
Chronic
2001?
and the East Siders.
Because we didn't get 2001 until after Last Meal, right?
Last Meal, East Siders' first album, and Chronic 2001.
All at the same time.
And then we started working on The Wash, because we had wrote The Wash while we did the Up and Smoke tour.
Very slept on soundtrack, by the way.
Come on, my
Shout
nigga. That Wash
out to
soundtrack,
Nocturnal, man.
That motherfucker, bang.
No, but Last Meal, I remember when Dre was on there's the voicemail in the
Hey,
beginning.
Snoop, I've been listening to your album, and I ain't said nothing on this whole motherfucker, on Lay Low.
Yeah, on Lay Low. I was like...
But he sequenced the whole album. He mixed everybody's song. Everybody gave him the music. He sequenced the Snoop, Snoop, Snoop,
Yeah.
all that into boom, 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 into all of that. He sequenced everything, even the R. Kelly song.
Crazy.
That's that shit?
Yeah.
Me and DLC wrote that.
By the way, very slept on record.
That record was big.
Big record at radio.
No, I used to perform that record with Cuz when he was on the streets. Nigga, that record was huge, nigga. Gang, 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 gang. Gang, 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 gang. Shout out to my nigga Knots for making that beat about a VA.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, we got to stop the interview real quick, man. Want to give a shout out to Blue Chew. That's right. Blue Chew. It is Blue Chew season. It's only right, man. Imagine you're missing out on the best sex of your life. Your partner's best sex of your life. Imagine you could make your partner that much happy. You could be fucking with so much confidence because your dick is so hard. I'm talking about whore, cuz, you know what I'm saying? As they would say here in LA. Listen, go to Blue Chew right now. They're getting you hooked up with a month's supply for free. A lot of people asking, is Blue Chew right for me? Does it work? Try it for free. All you got to do is go to bluechew.com. Same active ingredient as Viagra and Cialis and Levitra. Yes, that's the mint chewable form. They got the regular chewable form delivered right to your doorstep, and it's all handled online. You don't have to go to the doctor. No, you just handle it on the website. Very discreet, and it's delivered right to your doorstep. Yes, you can be literally having the best sex of your life, and Blue Chew wants all dicks to be bricked. You know what I'm saying? Why not be bricked up going into this winter, going into December? It's December, goddammit. It's cuffing season. You know what I'm saying? You'll make sure that dick is fucking throbbed up. You know what I'm saying? Damn. By the way, fucking post-morning Blue Chew boner is crazy. It's fucking fire. Anyway, look, got to give a shout out to Blue Chew. Look, special deal for the audience right now. You could try Blue Chew for free. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping at checkout when you visit bluechew.com. That's bluechew.com to receive your first month for free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And I want to give a shout out and thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Bootleg Kev podcast. Also, want to give a shout out to our folks at MyBookie, baby. That's right. December is here. Thanksgiving was fun. Let's be honest. I lost a little bit of money on the Lions. I thought they were going to lose. Thought it was going to be an upset. It's all good, though. Hey, listen, December, we got so much NBA action, so much NFL action, bowl game season, all happening in December. Get in on the action. Go to mybookie.ag right now. Use my promo code BOOTLEG, and they will double your deposit. That's right. They will double your deposit right now. All right, if you want to get in on any gambling action, they got the full casino. They got the sports book. Now they got it where you could cash out early on your tickets. The live game betting, which is my favorite. Oh, I love NBA live game in-game betting, because what happens is basketball is a game of runs, right? So you wait for the shitty team to go on a run and get up on the team that's going to win, and then you hammer the money line. You get the better odds. It's amazing. You can do all that on MyBookie right now. And don't forget to join their Telegram channel, mybookie.ag. Sign up with that promo code BOOTLEG right now. Bootleg is the promo code. You'll double your first deposit right now. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Let's get back to the interview. But I'm curious, like, I remember having a bootleg version of the album that was supposed to come out, the Fuck Death Row album. There was like I don't know how official it was, but I had like a Napster downloaded version of like a fake Snoop Dogg album, but it was you, but like that was an album you were gonna drop with Mac 10.
Yeah. A couple of songs that got out because one of the engineers that I had worked with ended up going to work for Death Row, and when Suge and them tried to put out that Walking Dead album, he slid him a few.
Oh, I remember that album. This Death Row Chronic 2000 comes out. There's a guy on there that sounds just like you.
Top Dog.
Oh, it's almost like they went out and they were like, we have to find a Snoop Dogg impersonator to try to fool people. And then the name Top Dog, you had an album called Top Dog, you know?
Right.
What were your thoughts when you heard that? Just that whole...
I was like, this nigga Suge is a real hater. Like, that's what my thoughts was, you know what I'm saying, at the time. But then Master P had seasoned me to, like, forgive and to move forward and not look back.
Yeah.
So I had to get trained into not paying attention to it because it was so much of it going on. Like, every time I would try to drop or Dre would drop,
there would be something where if someone went to a record store, they'd see something else next to it and be like, wait, what's this?
And then
like the Dead Man Walking shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then my Fuck Death Row album had leaked a little bit of it because one of the guys that was my engineers had ended up getting paid off by Death Row to work for them, and he slid a couple of my songs over there, and that's when they started finding somebody to sound like me. Can you believe that? It's like they did a talent search to find a nigga to sound like me, which to me it was like I was happy, like I'm really on you niggas' mind like that, where y'all trying to find a nigga that sound like
y'all can't
me?
just find someone new?
Right, and it's like, okay, so I must be hurting y'all, and that's what put me on a mission. I started like, when I went to like make music after that, my mission was to make great fucking music, and I think I went on a mission for like 6 straight years.
Oh, you went on a run.
Like Snoop Dogg wasn't playing with nobody.
Yeah.
doing songs with everybody, putting people on, making sure my records was right, doing big tours, you know what I'm saying? Getting down in the mixtape world. Like, whatever was coming out, I was always ahead of it. Even with 50 Cent. 50 Cent was opening up for me, and we showed the G-Unit how to get his background.
Right.
Because in the beginning, they just was up there. So I had the dog pound and all my crew with me, so 50 would come to my dressing room, we chop it up, I give him a little piece of game. Then before you know it, his show got right. Hold on, don't do that. In the club shouldn't be your first song. That's got to be your last song.
Right.
You can't come out to that. That's at the back.
Right.
Boom. Take him on the road again. This time we on the road. He dropped one of the niggas off the tour and ended up making it his tour, and now it's just me and him. Then I got a band, rocking with the band. Next time I see him on the road, he rocking with a band. So it's like we learn, we teach, we give information. When you associate it, you affiliate it. And I've been able to like take my career and give game to other people and receive game along the way.
Yeah, for sure. During that kind of time where you and Suge were going back and forth, whether it be, publicly or not, would you ever have thought that like Death Row would be yours one day? Like, it's kind of crazy if you really think about it. Like, cause you had your label, Doghouse, which had like Doggy's Angels and the East Siders. And but fast forward, and I feel like you've taken that Death Row brand and like it's everywhere, dude. Like I feel like you've slapped that motherfucker on. Like you got that licensing shit going crazy.
But that's what you're supposed to do. Like,
hell yeah.
My thing was getting it, cleaning it up. I had to clean up the bullshit first because there was so much negative energy around it. People was afraid of what Suge was gonna think and how the industry would react to doing business with Death Row, considering knowing that this nigga would be in the back trying to hate us, saying things negative. But I was like, I'm just gonna clean up all of this shit, give it a whole new approach, walk it out in a different light, and move with love as the purpose of Death Row Records, and connect the dots that they didn't do. Like, they didn't do none of the things that I'm doing with the label, and they had it way longer than me. I ain't had the label for 2 years, and I've done more things that's been done with this label in 30 years.
I mean, the October London Kid is incredible.
Thank you.
And then obviously the new Dog Pound album is crazy. East Siders are back. D-Smoke.
D-Smoke. I want D-Smoke on Death Row Records. I'll say it publicly. We always talk about it. We need to figure it out.
I know it had been talked about. I know it was in the air.
I'm not ashamed to say I want D-Smoke. I'm from Inglewood. I live over here now. I'm in the Inglewood area, and he's such a factor to the hip-hop game, to the community, to just, like, even how I met him on that show. Like,
yeah, that's true. And when you ask him, where you from?
Right.
Nah, but where you from?
And I'm checking him, trying to see if he a gang member or is he a rapper.
Right.
And come to find out, he becomes my brother.
Yeah, and one of the best guys. Shout out to him and Sir.
Death Row wants you. And Inglewood, Sir, Davion, I take the whole family. We're playing with me.
In 2011, I want to say, there's a historical moment. Yourself, Corrupt, The Game, I'm missing somebody else, essentially pass the torch to Kendrick Lamar on stage.
Yes.
Kendrick gets emotional. I think that was like a real turning point.
Well, at that time, The Game, he was the one that was
carrying the torch.
He was fucking carrying the torch. Game was fucking it up. He was getting it in. He was busting. He was battling niggas. He was keeping it gangster. He was taking niggas on tour.
Selling hella records.
But he was doing G shit, and we shouldn't forget that. A lot of times we run past him to get to that.
No, Game had a grand, he was holding the West Coast down.
That's why he was on stage when Kendrick was presented that, because it was all a part of us seeing that he was the next in line.
Yeah.
That's how we do it on the West. We give it to who's accordingly running the show.
Yeah.
So Game, naturally on stage with me, we felt like he the one. And it wasn't no discussion that we had 3 weeks ago. That shit happened right there on the
happened
spot.
on the spot.
This nigga was fucking it up. We in the crowd watching this nigga fuck it up. I'm sitting with Dr. Dre in the crowd, watching this nigga fuck it up. And I'm like, I gotta go on stage with this nigga Dre. I'm sorry, I can't be in the crowd. So I go on stage and he do another song, then another song, and they look over at me and they hand me the mic. I'm like, man, fuck all this shit, nigga. This nigga's the king. And everybody agreed. And that nigga broke down in tears, and it was beautiful because I watch him now and I see all the work he put in before he took the crown and after he got the crown. He is a true king.
When you heard him talk about you on Whacked Out Murals and posting the Taylor freestyle, I saw you retweet it and say it was the edibles. What were your thoughts when you first heard
Man,
that?
that's my nephew, man. He's a rapper, man. He's supposed to speak his mind and tell his truth.
Yeah.
That's the way he felt, you know what I'm saying? And he has the right to say that. I'm his big homeboy, so I have to take what's given to me from his perspective because he's speaking truth.
Yeah.
And the truth shouldn't hurt you, it should make you better. You know what I'm saying? I'm one to accept truth when it's brought to me directly. He feels that I shouldn't have played that. Damn, I was on them edibles, my nigga. I gotta be more careful. You right, nephew.
I mean, there was like an AI transposed version of you on that song, which was crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
that shit was diabolically, like, I don't even know, like, one of the weirdest things.
But the crazy part is, I can say it. What had happened was, that's how niggas say it. What had happened was, I did a collaborative post with someone. You know how you do a collaborative post?
And you do a lot of those.
Right. So when I do it, I don't listen to the music. I just see gin and juice because it's my brand.
Right.
So when I post it, I'm thinking I'm posting gin and juice. I don't know what song this is. I'm not hip to everybody's music.
Right.
Then I get the word, nephew didn't like what you did. What did I do? You played some music. What music? Then I had to go look at I'm like, oh, that's cuz.
Damn.
So then I deleted it, called nephew, left him a message because he ain't pick up. He was working on his shit. I left him a message, nephew, this Uncle Snoop. I got the message. I apologize. I was fucked up. My bad.
Did you feel like at all like weird about like that, like Drake using your voice?
Man, I don't want to be in nobody's shit, man. I like being in my own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because you didn't know that was happening.
No, I didn't.
To me, like if you were gonna do that, like you should like tap in, like, hey, I'm gonna use your voice on some shit.
But see, I'm such a big figure. I'm Uncle Snoop.
Right.
I'm accessible to everybody, so everybody feels like they can because I don't have too many parameters when it come to me. But when it comes to beef, that's a real parameter that I do have. I don't get in nobody's beef. I'm usually the one who ends the beef. But if it's out of my reach, then I step out and allow two men to get an understanding. And that's what I feel like these two men and two rappers should establish, where they don't need me to take sides or jump in. I'm from the West. So my heart lies on the West.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to this shit, you gonna handle your business because you from the motherfucking West.
Right.
You don't need no help.
Right.
And if you needed help, you wouldn't have to ask. I'd have been on the double.
That's fair. What are your thoughts on the lawsuit?
Next question.
I just gotta ask. Yeah.
Next question, cuz. Well, you know, on the West, we hold court in the streets, cuz.
Fair. See, that's all. Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's just what we call it.
Yo, on this new album, there's a. I love the way you ended it. The Negotiator was hard. It's a lot of sonics on this album. There's a lot of dope. Like what I feel like what you all were able to do was also like shine a light on some features that weren't necessarily like household names that had been like doing their thing for a while. Was there anything that didn't get finished feature wise in time for like that almost crossed the finish line making the album, or that you were trying to make happen that just didn't end up working out? Nah,
we were specific about what we wanted. We had a whiteboard in the room. Whiteboard.
Not a white boy.
A board. And the nigga say, yeah, white boy in the room. Whiteboard, B-O-A-R-D. And we would write down, the songs accordingly that we thought that would make it. And then we had another list called Shit Out of Luck. So the Shit Out of Luck was the songs that didn't make the album. So we would always look at these and then look at Shit Out of Luck and be like, which one? So give you a perfect example. It's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I think it's good. We had the album right here. Then we looking at Shit Out of Luck. I don't like this one song on the album. And Dre ain't really fucking with it either. So we trying to figure out what should we do or how can we make it better. So I say, hey, that motherfucker over there on Shit Out of Luck, that's a hit if you just touch it. It's sticky situation.
Fire.
Banging.
Fire.
That motherfucker was over there.
Oh, it wasn't even gonna make the album.
No way.
Yeah.
I had to go fish hooking back in and say, cuz, nigga, you hear what I'm saying on that?
Yeah, no, you're going in.
And you hear if you touch that music and put all that, and then when it changes into the, oh my God, it's an experience.
For sure.
So that was one of those records where I had to go save it rather than records that didn't make it.
Was there like other attempts of you guys doing a version of this throughout the years? Because we always hear like Dre is so like, I don't know how many times we've heard about the Detox and how many times it's been restarted. Like, did you guys ever attempt to do this specific mission of an album and it just didn't end up coming to fruition in the past?
Nope.
So this is the first time.
He don't miss.
Yeah.
That motherfucker don't miss. When me and him say we going in,
We're locked in.
yeah, we never locked in after this. The last time we locked in was the last meal. When it was like, hey, cuz, I need you to mix my album. And I sat up there with him and he mixed every song. But he didn't produce every song.
Right.
But he heard all of my lyrics on every song. So when I got to certain songs, when we got to That's That Shit, he was like, you and DLC got to write this again. So he made me like rewrite certain things. Then when we did The Wrong Idea, he loved Badass verse. And then my verse, he was like, I like the way you started, but you need to change. That's why when I changed, I said, I'm down with P-N-D-R-E, a real nigga from the motherfucking LBC. I just look like this. I stay down with the twist. I'm real with this. I'm deep as abyss. I gave you a pound, then I gave your wife a kiss. I had to dip because y'all was full of that bullshit.
Yeah.
So he made me change all of that when it wasn't even his beat. So now when we lock up on this project, it ain't like that. It's like, I'm producing you, Snoop. So that means when you come over here, you sit down and you follow my instructions. And I wanted that.
Right.
This is what I wanted. But all of the shit that I'm doing, I was missing that last piece. That musical piece that was dynamic and transparent with how I'm living right now, rather than you judging me off of Doggystyle, Blue Carpet, Paid the Cost. No, you judging me off of Missionary 2024, how I'm living and how I'm rocking.
You had said when I first walked in, you were saying that this is like your main shit. Like all the other shit are all side quests, right? But the music has always been the lifeline. Like I think about the algorithm was super dope. Like you've had even the Gangsta Grill shit, you know what I mean? Like Mount Westmore came out, you know what I mean? Like, is it hard for you to still be inspired, like to like get in the studio? And when you lose any inspiration, what do you do to kind of light that fire back to kind of...
I think having a record label, I would never lose interest in the studio. And then I got 3 studios here. And then I got so many dynamic artists that I love working with and love seeing them make records. And then I'm always listening to what's hot and what's new. And then I'm listening to what's old that lasts forever. So it's like I'm challenging myself to try to make shit that matters. Music is the universal language of all people, and if you're blessed with the abilities to do it, you're supposed to give up as much as you can. I look at the ones that have passed away and moved on, and how their music remains, and how their music like really touches the soul because they put their heart into it. And that's what I'm doing.
There's an album that I can't get on Spotify. I only can listen to it on YouTube, and it's a shitty upload. The 213 album.
I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get control of it.
What's going on?
TVT had it and they labeled it.
I remember it was out on TVT. So flies my shit, dog. Like,
yeah, and they dissolved. They the ones who gave me the first deal for the Eastsiders 213. They was the realest motherfucker. Mark Benish, rest in peace, was a great guy. But they had that album and the label I think went bankrupt, so they gotta call Tom Waddle. No, so who got that motherfucker? What's his name?
this is not on Spotify.
No, I can get the whole album.
Like
and
you
then,
want to just
re-release it
yes.
on Death Row, like remastered.
That'd be the way to go. I mean, I know when I was talking to Warren, he said he has like a pretty serious amount
got the
of
files.
Well, he's also got like unreleased Nate Dogg shit.
He got him and Fred Wreck both. They got a bunch of Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg used to go from Warren G's house to Fred Wreck's house. Then he used to fuck with this dude named Lance. But Lance was his engineer. So Nate would work out of his house. He would make song after song. Him and Tupac had the same work ethic.
Oh, so that'll tell you how much unreleased Nate Dogg music, because Tupac.
Yes, him and Tupac had the same work ethic. I'll say that. That's how he's on so many different hooks. That's why when people would call, Nate would show up. He go get that bag and give you a hell of a hook.
Would you consider a version of like finding some of that unreleased Nate Dogg shit and maybe doing something with it on Death Row?
Hell yeah. And I got a beautiful relationship with his mother, Miss Ruth. So we would make sure that the estate get the majority of the finance.
And his son is dope, and Hale's dope.
Come on, Nigel played in the Snoop U football league. He was my quarterback for a couple of years.
That's crazy.
I coached that kid. That's my guy.
By the way, shout out to the Underdogs. I see the poster behind you. Speaking
Come
of,
on, man, you know we don't play no games.
That was great movie.
I started the year off with that movie, right?
Great fucking movie, man.
January 26, 2024 is when my mission began this year to become the man of the year.
well, I mean, you're on your fucking way. I mean, we got 2 weeks left. You've done a lot.
What y'all doing, Time Magazine? What we doing?
They put Trump on the cover.
What?
He won. Yeah, he got it. Trump got it.
How?
I don't know. He got it. It just dropped like yesterday.
We miss you, Donnie.
Oh man. I also wanted to ask you. I always wonder when a dope if a dope diss record comes out that's about you, but it's hard.
Okay, check this out. If you walk through my hall on certain days, I got a radio station on Lit Life. It used to be Cadillac Music. On what was the name of that shit that Ski got?
Oh, Dash.
Yeah, they changed to Lit Life. So I got a station called Cadillac Music. Every day at about 1:30, 2 o'clock, walk down the hall. Eazy-E, Drayster, and BG Knockout be
Real
playing.
motherfucking G's.
And that shit be knocking, and you hear me singing it.
Yo, I was gonna ask you.
Motherfuck Dre, motherfuck Suge, motherfuck Death Row.
And yo, and here comes my left. L.
I know that shit. That nigga Eazy was on my head.
Yo, when
Them
that shit
niggas-
started though with the Compton.
That shit's so hard.
So when you first heard it, did you think that or were you pissed?
Fuck them niggas.
Because that shit is hard as fuck. Like
You know you don't want to give no nigga no credit when a nigga dissing you, nigga. And we was on them niggas' head. We had What Would You Do? We had Dre Day. We had all kind of shit where we was busting them upside the head. But when they dropped that motherfucker, we felt that one.
That shit was hard.
Like we felt like the other shit we didn't, but that motherfucker right there, because Eazy was going in on the nigga. I was like, damn, I love Eazy. Why he going so hard on me? But then I had to think, look what you did to him. Look what you said about him. Like, you didn't even get off to a good start with somebody that you really love, dog.
It's crazy because Warren was telling me there was a certain point in time during the beef that like Eazy and Dre were like
Communicating.
yeah, and damn
And
near
we
like
didn't know it.
like I want to say he said they were like damn near neighbors.
And we didn't know it.
Yeah.
So we taking the beef personal. This nigga Dr. Dre making records. Like it ain't that serious for him. That's what we have. See, because we come from a lifestyle of we do what we say. So if we gonna say it, we gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre come from the era we making records. We took his shit personal when it was just business with him. He was just trying to get his business straight. But we took it personal and dissing niggas, and when we see y'all niggas, it's on and popping. What's happening, cuz? What y'all want to do? When he wasn't like that.
Right.
If he seen Eazy, he'd just be like, what's happening?
Like, what's up?
They was neighbors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
And
were
we didn't
neighbors.
know that. We thinking this nigga lived in Compton, this nigga lived
Warren
over
G
here.
was like they would see each other like while they were taking the trash out all the time.
Wow.
Like what?
Come on, man.
Who would have thought?
See, Warren was in the middle of all that shit because he was there from the beginning of
Right.
NWA. So all of them was his family members.
Yeah.
So he could never take a side.
Nah, that was interesting. They
Yeah,
all,
Eazy and them, y'all got us on that. Drayster, Knockout. Y'all answered us on some Crip shit. Y'all did that, cuz.
it was a great record.
Great motherfucking record. You know what I'm saying? That's what a real man do. When he gets stolen on, he got to take that.
Hey, we're about to kick off another interview brought to you by Hardin. That's right. If you're in Vegas, it's the #1 dispensary in the country, the craziest selection of premium cannabis. And all you got to do is shoot them a follow, Hardin_Las Vegas, HardinLasVegas.com. When you're in Vegas, tell them I sent you. Let's get into the interview. All right, we got to stop the interview. Shout out to our family at Odd Socks, baby. That's right. Oh, look at these Odd Socks basics right here. Yeah, most comfortable socks in the world. Go to oddsocksofficial.com right now, man. Save 20% off your order. Look, you need some draws, some Big Lebowski socks, some Funyuns underwear. I mean, look, what are you into? How about some Coca-Cola? Shout out to everybody who loves Coke, my favorite soda. Some little Swedish Fish, Scarface. Look, they got all the licenses. They got the most comfortable socks in the world. Perfect gift for you, for the family, for whomever you love. Oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code BOOTLEG. Save 20% at checkout. They also got the new slides. They also got well, we already showed y'all the draws. They got the slides, they got hats, they got accessories, and the most comfortable socks in the world. Like this sock right here, the basics. You can't fucking go wrong with the basics. Oddsocksofficial.com, our OG sponsor, our family. That's all I wear is Odd Socks. I swear to God, it's all I got on my ass and on my feet, baby. At all times, it's Odd Socks. Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code Bootleg right now. Let's get back to the interview. It's been said that you smoked in the White House.
You have footage?
Did you smoke in the White House?
Do you have footage?
I don't have footage.
Well, I might have not to answer that question. And my lawyer advised me not. I don't know how much time you can get for that.
I don't think I think it's probably, they just found cocaine in the White House, to be quite fair.
And that nigga just got out.
He did get pardoned.
Well, I ain't gonna tell on myself, but let me say, the bathroom had a nice aroma to it after I left.
Hypothetically speaking, as someone who's passed through security at the White House, how would someone sneak a pre-roll in?
In your sock, nigga.
In your sock. That's fair.
You know how to pat a nigga down, but if you got them socks with the rolls in it, it feel like it's part of the sock, nigga. The roll, you gotta have the rolls in the sock, so you slide him in the roll. And they ain't finna, I'm the D.O. double. They not finna pat me down like that, nigga. They happy to see me. Oh my God, Snoop Dogg's here. He's here. We're right there. How are you, Mr. Dogg? Can you go through the metal detector? I have my lovely wife, my daughter with me as well. Yes, let them come through as well. Oh, the Obamas are expecting you in a real way. Oh, you don't even have to go through that room. Then when I get in, they like, hey, dog, the butler want to holler at you. So I go in the kitchen. The butler's a nigga like me, real nigga too. What up, D.O. Want me to hook you up something real? Because they out there eating that rich shit. You want some wings or something? I'm like, yeah. I said, man, where can I hit something? He said, go to the bathroom over there to the left and spray that Lysol 2 times when you leave. Shout out to the Biznutler.
Yeah, hypothetically. Oh shit. Yo, me and G Malone, shout out to G Malone.
I fuck with glasses.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. I
call him my hip hop statistician. He has all of the stats on Snoop Dogg, and he has all of the history when it comes to defending me. He would be my lawyer and my hip hop statistician.
Well, I have Doggystyle. I kind of have like a 1, 2, 3 at any given time of my favorite album ever. It's Doggystyle. It's really Doggystyle or Illmatic, to be quite honest. What's one of those two? But it's for me, it's Doggystyle. I mean, Doggystyle changed my life, like I told you. But like Doggystyle to me is like the kind of epicenter of like everything. In like you could trace so much back to that album. But me and Glasses always talk about how when we're talking about like there's like you're a one of one. You're the most famous motherfucker on the planet, low key. Like I think you're like are you like self-aware to realize like you might be the most famous person alive?
I don't know. I can't go certain places. I know that.
Where can't you go?
To your mama house? No, I'm fucking with you.
But like, I mean, you might be the most famous person like on the planet. Like, who doesn't know who you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people who don't know who LeBron James is. There's people who don't know even Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like, I feel
that's crazy, Kev. I don't know. I mean, you know, when you in the body, you don't have that experience, the out of body experience. But at the same time, I'm watching how my base is growing, how the fan base of people that would never look at me, speak to me, recognize me.
You have an elf on the shelf.
A Snoop on the stoop.
Do you know how fucking crazy that is? And my kid, we've been doing elf on the shelf with this kid since he was a baby, right? And this year, he said, next year I want the Snoop. I said, what?
The D.O. double, man. The kids love him. He get down there and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference from a superstar that's up here and the kids got can I have your autograph?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg is right here. Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Yo, I wanted to ask you too. Shout out to Jason Martin, the homie Problem. Him and I had a debate on my pod. We're talking about which label is greater, Death Row or t.d.e. I said Death Row because I think of the tree that came from everything that came from Death Row, but t.d.e. is right there. For you, man, like, what has it been like watching? Just like even another like West Coast label, just even being in that conversation. Like,
well, first of all, let me say this: Top is my guy. I love him. I watched his hustle, his climb to where he got to, getting his artists together, assembling all of that talent, putting the gangs to the back, putting the talent to the front, keeping that family vibe, making sure everybody supports each other, keeping a legit, clean business, non-violent. Top deserves a lot of respect. Been clean, been righteous, got his boys working with him, got his kids involved.
No, his sons are helping with the
Come on, man. Like, this needs to be commended. Does the annual Christmas event that is
Beautiful.
peaceful.
Yeah.
They did the walk in Compton where it was beautiful. Like, things that he does is overshadowed sometimes by the music and the things that his artists do, but it's got to be a backbone and a foundation to this. And he watched for many years label executives mishandle power and abuse artists and do things the wrong way. So he just practices the great way of doing business. That's why I love him and appreciate him and support him. And he got my back and I got his back when it comes to anything musically, community-wise. And that needs to be commended as far as what he does, as far as assembling and keeping his business legit. You never hear no smut, nothing negative about t.d.e. He don't have that backlash of death row that I had to take on and get rid of. So naturally, yes, you would say that t.d.e. is the new version of death row.
I mean, and also like a much longer run.
But better.
Because I feel like people forget how short, like the death row run was like.
We was the Michael Jordan Bulls, cuz.
Right. Like it felt like it was forever, but if you really look back.
We was the Michael Jordan Bulls,
like
92 to 96. When did Michael Jordan win the championship with the Bulls?
It was 90-91 was the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to 93, and then two three-peats, yeah.
Right, so we went up to 96. I say 96 because that's when Tupac came, right?
Yeah.
Tupac came in 96 and he passed away in 96. So you got to think about that's how long our run was, 92 to 96.
Yeah, TD's going on 09 to now, I mean.
And t.d.e. got R&B.
And they got one of the biggest pop stars in the world, SZA.
And they got that new girl.
Dochi's a superstar.
Like they keep hitting you upside the head with shit. Ab-Soul, motherfucking Schoolboy Q, J-Rock.
Sir, we mentioned Sir.
Sir, Inglewood, Sir. Like they just flooding the game, and it's like you got to commend that.
Ray Vaughn too. He's from Long Beach.
So we at Death Row, we look up to them, as opposed to the other way around and how it used to be. It used to be they'd look up to us because we was the big fish in a small pond. Now it's like they setting the bar, setting the trend. The things that his artists and what they're doing is things that I can follow and do for my artists and for myself. That's what the game is about, learning and getting information and not being too big to ask. I called Kendrick maybe a year and a half ago when I was overseas and I had watched him perform at the Paris. He had did a show in Paris on Amazon. And I was so fucking intrigued with his show and his showmanship and the way he had his shit together. I hit Terrence Martin. I said, cuz, give me K-Dot number. He gave me his number and I called cuz. I said, man, how the fuck did you do that show, man? What I gotta do to make my show like that? And he gave me some simple shit about like, just keep doing the shit you do. But it was so much information in that small conversation that I ended up making my show like even better. But that's me not having an ego and reaching out to someone who's younger than me, flyer than me, doper than me, and got a tap on some shit that I need to get information on.
Would you say, because I feel like that is one thing about you, Snoop, is it feels like you are like as big as you are and as legendary as you are, you're like, you have a lot of humility. Like you're willing to like step aside from your ego. Would you say that like that is a key to longevity?
Yeah, whatever you put out is what you're gonna get. Like, it's a lot of shit that be happening to people and then you wonder why. It's the energy that they put out. Like, I went through mines early because that was the energy I put out. So like I told you, when I got to the Dogfather, I was trying to find a new energy. And I just been sticking with it. And it is what it is. You gotta find the energy that the universe provides for you to keep you in a safe space. And some people don't do that. They always go to the negative energy or they try to find ways to, impress people instead of trying to be the best version of themselves.
That's fair. That's fair, man. Well, look, Missionary is out. It is a great body of work.
What would you rate it on
So I got
Snoop Dogg album? I ain't even talking about 1 to 10, just Snoop Dogg.
I have 2 full listens. So
you can't give me no rating.
So that's what I'm saying. So I was at the t.d.e thing last night. I came to your
you
event.
was mixed up. You had all that good music.
Well, so on my way to your
you was DJing at the t.d.e event.
Well, I came to your thing last night. So on my way to your thing, I listened. By the way,
you DJing first at the t.d.e event when you walked in. Kev, you was rocking. You had the party rocking. Then the stage got surrounded, and I couldn't see you no more.
This was crazy. Forrest Whitaker caught a crazy stray on the album. By the way, he said it's uglier than Forrest Whitaker. I said, damn.
It's the only boy that rhymed. When he's in the room discussing it, he was like, what rhyme with that? Oh, Forrest Whitaker. Okay, let's go.
I would say, I mean, dude, I would say this, like, it would be just, I mean, I can't really give like a serious rating off it because even like on our way over here, listening to it for a third time, it just felt good.
It's one of them things that's gonna grow on you.
I think all the great albums do.
That's what I was about to say. The Chronic album, yeah, it became, when it first came out, G-Thing, it had to grow. G-Thing had to grow. Then, Dre Day, it grew a little bit more. By the time he got to Let Me Ride, motherfuckers had lived with the album, and they had understood what it was about. So then when we get to Doggystyle, that's where all the expectation and anticipation, because you done heard all this great shit. This has been so many years separated from me and Dr. Dre, so you expecting Snoop and Dre, but you ain't heard it in so long, you don't even know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, because it's new too.
And it's always been new. We've never been what they are.
Yeah.
Think about the records that we've done. They've never sounded like anything that was out that year, and they've never been in the world of that's.
I think that's just kind of, I mean, I think even like Sensual Seduction is like, no one has ever made a song like that since or before.
Shout out to Shorty Red for writing that record for me.
Such a great fucking record.
He wrote it for himself, but then he said, I don't want to sing this record. What you think? You want it? I said, nigga, I'm gonna, mic check, I'm gonna, Figaro.
When you guys like were like finishing up this album, was this around the time like the Kendrick shit was real? Because it feels like there's this West Coast moment that like, you know, my boy DJ Head always says like everyone's setting it up for like the West Coast to have another moment to like run hip hop like you guys did in the 90s, right? Do you feel that same energy? Like, yo, like kind of all eyes are on us over here now. Like it's a matter of like delivering now with the records and the music.
I'm gonna tell you this. Hip hop always shifts. It shifted from day one. East Coast had it. They ran it. It was their world. They controlled the media, radio, the look, the style.
By the way, they still control the media for the most part.
The look, the style, the everything.
Right.
Then it shifted. The West Coast, we took it.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for it, we took it. And when we took it, we ran with it. We showed motherfuckers how you can have it outside of New York and remain you while doing it. Then it shifted back to the East Coast because Biggie and them came and took that motherfucker back. Then DMX and all them niggas came and 50
Jay-Z,
Cent and Jay-Z and them nigga New York niggas was not playing. Nigga like, hold on, y'all gonna take some shit that we created? Nigga, wait a minute. Boom.
Right.
Took it. But when they took it, they was not respecting the South.
And the South has had it.
They did not respect the South, but the West always respected the South. So what the South did was said, hey, let's call our cousins from the West and ask them what they did. We just gangbang and took our shit. Oh, that's what you got to do? Yep. And guess what else we did? We made them do what we do. What you mean? They gangbang now. Oh, that's all you got to do? Cool. We gonna bounce. We gonna get crunk. We gonna put these grills in our mouth. We gonna talk about these strip clubs. We gonna pop this player shit from down south. And we gonna take this motherfucking rap game. And we gonna hold it longer than y'all niggas had it.
I mean, they've had it for, I mean.
Hello.
Jesus.
They probably had the longest run.
Yeah,
it's so
fair.
good for the South. Niggas rap like them now.
Everybody.
Stop me when I'm lying.
No,
I didn't even rap on some. But remember, who saved me from death row?
Master P.
Where he from?
He from New Orleans.
Hello.
Yeah. That shit's crazy.
South-West connect. We've always been there. It's just been a disconnect with the East. So when the South took it, they don't want to give it back. The South don't want to give it back, but there's somebody strong that can take it from the South. That's us, the West.
I think that's what's dope about the timing of Missionary.
You could have made that motherfucker into a cartoon. That should have been hard.
Missionary and GNX coming out in the same like month.
Hey, don't sleep on Ice Cube album.
And the Cube album is dope.
Don't sleep.
It's My Ego's My Shit. Great video. That
You
whole
niggas
album.
so sensitive.
But there's and even like the Dog Pen album a few months ago. The
Yes.
East Side of shit is. I just feel like it's and I just hope that we. Is there anybody on the younger side of LA hip hop that you got your eye on that you're just a fan of that isn't necessarily associated?
Is that
with
Meet
Death
the
Row?
Wops? Is that the name of them?
Meet the Whoops.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them niggas. I love the red side. I love the
Jay
young-
Worthy and those guys.
Yeah,
are dope.
but I love how the rap game on the West is leveling out. Like for a while, the Crips, we was like dominant. You know
For
what
sure.
I'm saying? So now you starting to see young blood homies get it in and collaborate and win and then do things on their own and piece up and network. That's what the West is about. It's about, and I commend Kendrick for this too, for bringing the Hispanics in as well, because that's what the West is. We are made up of many cultures, and basically Hispanic, blacks are the dominant off the top.
Yeah, and there's so many dope Mexican rappers out of LA.
Right, so it's like,
Coyote, Lefty Gunplay.
the work that we do, a lot of times we do work and it don't be broadcast. Like it's an artist that I got on Death Row named Julian Torres, who makes mariachi music. And Fred Rick brought him to me. He performs at the Dodger games and does all kind of things. Come to find out, the girl that's singing on Kendrick album is in his band.
Oh yeah, because he found her at the Dodger game.
Hello.
Yeah.
So this is how we work on the West. Like his plug, his plug, his plug. That's why on that song, Gorgeous, what I say? Last time I checked, I was the plug to your plug. I'm the fucking connect. You hear me?
I hear
I'm
you.
the plug to the plug.
The actual connect.
Hello.
Yes. The source.
I'm the power.
The source.
Yeah. I can turn you off.
Well, listen, everyone go get the album. It's incredible. The vinyl's wild. If you guys want a condom,
If you want a condom to spin around on your SP1200,
literally, like you said, this is the clinic one though.
yeah, that's the one they get when you got VD, the free one. What you doing in here? Get you a couple of those and get on out of here.
Yeah, in a paper bag. They send you out the door.
And then you see your preacher on the way in, like, what you doing here, brother? Oh, I just came to take a physical, brother.
Wait, this ain't that kind of doctor though. The drink is everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere.
Man, we working right now, kid. Right now, we in our wonder years. We having fun. We setting trends. We showing people that there's no such thing as age when it comes to hip hop and business. A lot of times we get categorized as far as like you're old, but they don't do that to any other industry but hip hop.
No.
So we try.
Rolling Stones are still touring. They're like fucking 80 years old.
But that's why we rewriting history with showing that there should never be no limit on what you do based off of how you do.
Yeah, I mean, you were, by the way, for people who don't know, the reason why you weren't at the Pop Out was because you were in Canada with DJ Quick. You
Yes.
guys had a tour.
Me, Quick, Warren G,
Yeah.
Dog Pound. We went over there to put the West, you know what I'm saying, put the flag back up. Somebody had to go over there and do it, you know what I'm saying?
What was it like watching that moment, though, in Canada, being like, fuck?
How about we in my dressing room, all of us, before I get on stage, and we got it on YouTube, and we rocking to that motherfucker, seeing everybody he bringing on stage, watching how young K-Dot takes his leadership role into, the next level, having E40's voice come through the fucking speakers before he hit the stage, just seeing how the levels of how everybody was performing. Then when he came out, that shit was like here.
Facts.
And that's what the fuck it's supposed to be.
I love it, man. The Missionary movie, I watched it. It's like you guys, by the way, for people who don't know, there's like a 12-minute movie that you guys dropped.
Yep.
And if you love Dexter, which I do, did you watch Dexter?
I fucking love that show. I'm mad that shit discontinued.
No, did you see they
brought it back?
They dropped, first of all, they dropped a new Dexter like 2 years ago. He survives. And then his son, his son, remember his little boy?
Yeah.
His son's grown. So he finds his son. His son kills him I can't.
Oh, come on now.
Anyway.
Fuck it. You know I love that shit.
So
Quit with
listen,
me.
there's a Dexter prequel that comes out Sunday.
Well, I hope I did enough of my acting in this.
No, but
mini
you guys
movie.
have this fucking hilarious 12-minute mini movie where you
fuck
and
with it?
oh, it was bro. We were driving over here watching it, and like we laughed out loud like 3 times. You had the one-liners, like when you came like Dr. Dre. You're like, I don't like that shit. But you guys are like in this fucking movie, like I guess, would you say mercenary, like killing bad people?
We hit men that make hits.
Hitmen that make hits. It was a nice metaphor, but it was very Dexter-like.
Yeah, because we take care of the bad guys, so to speak. You know, as kids, we always watched the Spider-Man, Superman's fight crime, and
Like, y'all smoke a fucking pedophile, like, off the rip.
yeah. See, we fight crime in a different way. You know, we do things that the law don't do.
How fun was that? And like, who wrote, like, you had some one-liners in there that were fucking hilarious. Like, you just over here smoking and shit, and you're like, oh, I'm trying to fix the smell.
Well, that's about when me and Dre get together and we find a great director like Dave Myers who really understands us.
Oh, that was Dave Myers directed. He was like one of the greatest video directors. It felt like some shit. Like when I was like, it felt like some guilty conscience shit. Yeah.
Plan. So when we all get together, we don't have no problem with being funny and being hard at the same time because we know what people love from us. Like me and Dre always know that people love us when we make records together and we rap back and forth, but when we ever in something cinematically, they love when we at odds. They love when, like when we did The Wash.
The Wash was so good.
Come on, my nigga, like just the banter between me and him, like this person, that person, but we always love each other, but we always have arguments, misunderstandings, and disagreements that are funny. They're never too serious where it's like, man, they don't really like each other. Be like, oh, that shit was funny as a motherfucker.
And then at the end, the dude with the Eminem Jordans and then 50 Cent shit. You're like, cuz those are $4,000 or $40,000. Let's take that. And then it ends with 50 Cent's drop. It was great.
Dr. Dre a bad motherfucker, ain't he?
Did he write that?
Dr. Dre is a bad motherfucker, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. When it comes to him and Snoop Dogg, he always make me look the best. He make me sound the best. Like it looked like all the lines and all the shit look like, man, that nigga Snoop Dogg. But this is his mind knowing this is what you're supposed to say.
He got to write a movie for y'all.
Thank you. Say it loud.
Please.
I told him that. I called him last night because he was like, if we do a movie, we need to get acting coaches for. And I'm like, nigga, I don't need no motherfucking acting coach. Nigga, I'm in the game.
You just got to play yourself, Snoop.
No, but then he was like, this how dope he is. We do need acting coaches because these are going to be roles that no one has ever thought of.
Oh.
So he thinks like that. He ain't thinking about, like, what you see right now in that 12-minute movie, we wouldn't even extend that.
That shit was
great. We
great.
would go somewhere else.
When's the last time you watched Bones?
Jimmy motherfucking Bones.
I had that shit on VHS.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah, I just wonder, because like that was like your first time, and like I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a great movie.
To me, it was. Because, let me tell you why it was great.
It was like a hood classic. Though.
Let me tell you why it was great. I got to act with Pam Grier, huh?
Oh yeah.
For 3 months in Canada, and then I got to work with Ricky Harris. So the cast, Clifton Powell.
Yeah.
The cast helped me to become a better actor. Like everything is steps and stages. Like
Bones was before Baby Boy, right?
Yeah. So when you're challenged with working with great actors and a great cinematographer. Ernest Dickerson directed that movie, who did Juice, did all the Spike Lee shit. He was the cinematographer. So working with those quality of people helped me to take my shit serious. Because before that, I was just playing Snoop Dogg. I would just go do a regular role and just do some basic shit. After that, my roles began to take on like more depth, and I got serious about learning my lines and doing characters that were not me, that were so distant from me that you would believe that I was actually that person on screen.
I mean, yeah, you're like one of the all-time movie assholes in Baby Boy, for sure.
I know, right? Would you let me watch your kids?
If it's the Snoop and Underdogs, sure. I don't know about Baby Boy Snoop.
The Underdog Snoop and the Baby Boy Snoop.
It's like if the Baby Boy Snoop evolved, grew up, and like got his shit together.
Yeah, that's who he is. Yeah. He just moved out of Yvette's house and now he coaching Little League football, talking shit.
For sure, man. Well, look, I appreciate you for sitting down with me, man. Yo, album is dope. Can't wait to see what else you got up your sleeve, Snoop. This is my bucket list interview. I've always said the one interview, Snoop. So
scratch that off your bucket list, bootleg kid.
I hope it's not the last one, man.
This ain't no bootleg interview either. This is a real motherfucking interview.
500th episode.
That's why I said it ain't bootleg. It's real.
My guy, Snoop Dogg. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, love boy.
Fire.